What's happening, lads? Ahoy, welcome back to Copper Logic. It's Jake here again today, and I'm going to be talking you through a transfer roundup. A lot of things have happened over the last week or two to the point where it's worth doing another transfer roundup. We've got some new targets that have come to the surface, updates on existing targets, and I think it's worth going through every single one of our main targets at the moment. I've said targets too many times, but I think it's worth going through each and every one and just letting you know where we're at with them. So without hesitation, let's jump straight into it with Micky Van De Ven. Now, there's no real significant update since my last video, to be honest. The only real significant thing that we should note is that he's on Tottenham's radar, as well as ours, but Tottenham have opened talks with the player. Now, that's not cause for panic because I know they've opened talks with another one of their centre-back targets in Edmund Tapsoba. So maybe they're just going through and making sure that the personal terms and the player side is all agreed and they're all happy with that understanding before they go ahead and submit an official bid to Wolfsburg for the player. So I wouldn't say that's cause for concern just yet. It looks like they're going around every one of their targets and making sure that they've got everything agreed before they put a bid in. Who knows, maybe Tottenham's involvement might force our hand and might bring us back into the conversation. As far as I'm aware, he's not our number one top centre-back target. So maybe because of the price, we might jump back to the table. No updates on regards to price, no update on regards to any release clause in any degree. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one and see if anything happens with Tottenham getting involved, but we'll see. So sticking on the theme centre-backs, we've got what I believe is our top target there, or our top priority in that position, Gonçalo Inácio of Sporting Club Portugal. I did watch a video on how to pronounce that name, but I might have still butchered it anyway, so I'm sorry if I did. Latest on him is that David Lynch has confirmed that we are interested in that player. Him and Micky Van De Ven seem to be our two top targets for the centre-back role. He does have a contract until 2026, but apparently it's got a release clause in for allegedly 45 million euros. Apparently Sporting have tried to get him to renegotiate that and add in a higher release clause, but he's not signed it off, so it suggests that he wants someone to trigger it. Now, obviously, it's been said that we will 100% sign a centre-back, and I believe it's going to be one of either Micky Van De Ven or Inácio, so maybe we would trigger that release clause, considering it's quite low, but we'll have to wait and see. Another one to keep our eye on. Okay, so moving into the midfield now, we have Roméo Lavia. Now, James did do a video on this guy not too long ago, and the only real significant update on this is that we've apparently told his team we're prepared to put in a bid for him soon, whether that's tomorrow, next week, this week. Who knows? That could be any time. That's all we know. Manu Kone did get subbed off in the under-21 Euros with what seemed to be a severe injury to the point where he left the stadium on crutches. So he may have been bumped up the list because of that. To be fair, this is why you sign your targets after any international competitions, because you never know when something like this will happen. Also, Arsenal have signed Declan Rice, so they might not want or need Roméo Lavia anymore, so we might have a clear run to him. As far as I'm aware, there's no other clubs that are in the running for him. Chelsea seem to want Caicedo, and City just seem to be focused on either Gabri Veiga or they've just got Kovacic, so they might not want him. So we might have a clear run to him. Feels like the stars are aligning for that kind of transfer, so we'll have to wait and see. So next up, we've got Nicolò Barella. Now, we've not covered Barella on this channel yet, and I think it's because we see him as a bit of a backup option and a bit of a, a bit lower down on the target list, so to speak. But the fact that he's on Newcastle's radar and they've just spent, I think it was 50 to 60 million on Tonali, I think Inter Milan will be demanding more for Barella, especially as he's reported to be quite happy staying at Inter Milan, so it'd be a quite hard deal to get done, or at least to convince him to join. Definitely feels less possible than the rest of our targets anyway. He's also a little bit older as well, so maybe that's something to differentiate him between the rest of our targets. We might not want to prioritise him because he's a little bit older. We might want to try and go for a younger player and get more out of them. It appears we're a bit cautious and maybe overpaying for the player. So that one I think is unlikely, to be honest. So, Gabri Veiga up next. I also think this one is starting to get unlikely because he was already on our radar, then Chelsea started wanting to know about him, and now City want to get involved, and we obviously don't like bidding wars, so I think we might just back out. At the same time, saying that, he does have a release clause in, so it probably will be more up to the player, but I think we'd probably still want some assurances that he'd want to come to us rather than just go to Chelsea or City and get a bigger wage or Champions League football. I think that one's take a bit of a hit in terms of getting it done and getting it over the line, but I'm not saying it's completely out of the question. I just think it's less likely. So next on my list, I've got Gravenberch. Now, Gravenberch seems to be staying at Bayern, and he seems to be pretty content with that. Whether he's had assurances that he'll get more game time next season or not, I don't know. His interviews seem to suggest that he wants to stay at Bayern if he gets some good game time, rather than come to Liverpool where he definitely gets some. that's really the only update on that one. There's nothing else to say on that one, really. It looks like he's staying put or buying, and he's quite happy with that. So maybe he's in a similar position to us as Barella. Good old Khéphren Thuram up next, and there's been a bit of an update. Not loads of updates, but apparently there's murmurings and rumours that a club has submitted a bid closer to what Nice expect or want for the player. It's not confirmed to be Liverpool, but at the same time, I don't really know who else it could be. There's been no real significant news about any other clubs coming in for him. The only ones originally were PSG, but they got someone else. Newcastle don't seem to have progressed it any further either, so it signifies that it might be us. We are the one that progressed most, and he was our top target, or seemingly our top target before the Euros, the one that we wanted to get over the line next. So that one I have a little bit more faith in. That one we might see as soon as the Euros ends, but we'll have to keep our eye on that one. That one I have a little bit more confidence in. I'm happy with that one. So last, but by no means least to any degree, we have Dominik Szoboszlai. Now, this news excited everyone when it dropped earlier this week, including myself, to be honest. It probably helped that it came from David Ornstein himself, and then similarly echoed by The Echo in the form of a Paul Gorst tweet. See what I did there? See what I did? Oh, clever, won it. Fabrizio Romano and Melissa Reddy of Sky then also reported this, so it seems like there's a bit more weight to this one. We did do a video on it yesterday, but even within 24 hours, there's been much more context to the story. Now, we know Jurgen Klopp's been a big fan of this player for ages now, and so have the club, to the point where we've been tracking him since his Salzburg days, and now he's managed to get quite high on Jurgen Klopp's list, according to reports. Now, he does have a release clause in his contract of allegedly £60.5 million, which does expire in, as of recording this video, less than 24 hours. But I believe we have no intention of triggering that release clause because it includes a one-off payment, which doesn't sound like Liverpool at all to me. We seem to have reassurance from Leipzig that they're willing to negotiate after this time and that the fee won't significantly change. So it sounds like they're doing us a solid because we sent Fabio there on loan. So nice one, lads. It also lines up with the fact that Jorge Šmanko is apparently going to focus on the Bundesliga market, so it definitely fits that criteria. When I was originally meant to film this video, which was yesterday night, Newcastle were also interested in the player, but within 24 hours, they've apparently not been able to progress it, or at least any deal will be difficult due to FFP reasons. Not sure what reasons specifically, but that works in our favour. Even despite that though, there was reports that he'd rather join a Jurgen Klopp team in the Europa League than go to Newcastle with Champions League football, or even stay at Leipzig for Champions League football, so if that's true, then he'd already be welcomed with open arms. I think there's substance to this one as well. It seems to us he's suddenly become our top transfer target, and the only real stumbling block being that we want to pay in installments. He is a bit similar to Khéphren, but I'm not massively annoyed by that. I would like a defensive-minded midfielder, but ultimately this signing would be too exciting and too good to turn down. With this one, we'll keep you as up-to-date as possible as and when they come out, so certainly looks promising. So that's pretty much the latest update on most of our targets. If you think there's anything or anyone that I've missed, then leave a comment down below. Also, whilst you're down there, let me know which 2 or 3, maybe 4 players of this list you'd want to see in red. I'm interested to know. Also, whilst you're down in the comments, if you don't mind liking the video, that'd be great. It helps out massively, so we'd very much appreciate it. Also, if you want to stay up to date with the transfer news, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and put notifications on. We're going to try and keep you guys in the know as often and as reliably as possible, so it's worth it in my opinion. But thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you lads in a bit.